This has to be the worst NFL season in the 26 years I've been on this earth. Between scoring being the lowest since 2010, especially in primetime, 12 teams expected to play backup quarterbacks in Week 14, and some of the league's most exciting preseason teams falling short of expectations, Sundays just haven't quite felt the same. But even with that being the case, the race for divisions, the race for the number 1 overall seed, and playoff spots are still very much up in the air. And with that, there's plenty of opportunity to find value on the betting board with a condensed field of candidates and make a pick for who will lift the Lombardi trophy in Vegas in just a couple months. So how do we find that team? And what information do we have from previous Super Bowl winners that can help us with this prediction? We know great quarterback play is a prerequisite. The worst QB to win a Super Bowl in the last 5 years was Matthew Stafford, and in that season, he threw for nearly 5,000 yards and over 40 touchdowns. What I also know is unless you're the GOAT or Patrick Mahomes, you're not going to be crowned world champions without an elite pass rush. Every Super Bowl champion that did not have one of those two QBs was top 10 in sack rate that season. So that means 49ers, Eagles, and Lions, you've officially been eliminated from Super Bowl contention for now. It's only Week 14. But honestly, it's hard to see anyone but the Eagles or 49ers making it out of the underwhelming NFC, so I think it's best we focus on the AFC where things seem much more wide open. And believe it or not, the top 5 teams in sack rate all come from the AFC, with the order being Browns, Chiefs, Dolphins, Bills, and Ravens. Now, Cleveland, as much as I'd like to see Joe Flacco turn back the clock, and that arm is still lively, I just don't see it in the cards. To me, the Dolphins and Ravens provide the most intrigue, as they're tied for the number 1 seed in the AFC, and their price to win it all pays more than the Chiefs. Miami is 3rd in the league in sack rate at 8.8%, while Baltimore is 5th at 8.6%. The Ravens being this good of a unit is really impressive when you consider the fact that they let go their 2 most productive pass rushers in Justin Houston and Calais Campbell last season. They've instead looked from within for answers and found it in Odafe Oweh, who ranks 22nd in pass rush win rate this season, and Justin Madubuike, whose 11 sacks ranks 10th in the league. Combine that with Jadeveon Clowney turning back the clock, and the Ravens have the league's best defense, allowing just 15.6 points per game. The Dolphins haven't quite been the elite defensive unit the Ravens have all season long. Their 22.2 points per game allowed ranks 21st in the league. And they just lost Jalen Phillips for the duration of the season to an Achilles injury. But since Jalen Ramsey made his return in Week 8, the Dolphins have the number 1 pass defense in opponent EPA per play. The problem is, outside of Kansas City, their opponents during that span have been pretty underwhelming. And that's constantly been the knock on this Miami team. Can they put together these big-time performances against the league's best? Both the Ravens and Dolphins will meet up on New Year's Eve in what could ultimately decide who will get the all-important bye to the divisional round. The Ravens will play host in that game, but they also hold the league's toughest strength of schedule the rest of the way. And with that being said, I think I lean with the Dolphins here, grabbing the AFC's number 1 seed. The value of the bye, while also avoiding matchups with Baltimore or Kansas City until the conference championship, cannot be overlooked. And we haven't even discussed the Miami offense that is well on its way to leading the best season by a wide receiver in NFL history. Tyreek Hill is looking to break Calvin Johnson's single game receiving yards record while also more than tripling his touchdowns in that same season. And not only that, he's on pace to do it in the same amount of games that Johnson did, not needing that extra 17th. And then there's this rookie running back that is averaging 9.5 yards per rush attempt. He has more rushes of 10+ yards than Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, and Breece Hall with just 50 touches. With guys like Achane and Hill, the Dolphins offense overwhelms teams with their speed, and then they combine it with an offensive mastermind in Mike McDaniel. Coming from the Shanahan coaching tree, he's constantly using pre-snap motion to make their offense more complex and more difficult for opposing defenses. Now that he's got his chess pieces in place and another season of install, this offense matches up with any other in the NFL. But this season, what will take them over the top is their defense. By bringing in Vic Fangio to call plays on that side of the ball, the Dolphins have 2 of the best minds in football, combined with a team with the most talent in it too. If you're looking for a team to back before the end of the NFL's regular season, it's got to be the Miami Dolphins at 9-1 to lift the Lombardi trophy.